learn how to play D&D? Awesome! Welcome! Whether you're here from Baldur's Gate, whether you're here from Stranger Things, Dungeon Crawler Carl, the myriad of D&D games that are now on YouTube, including Critical Role, Min-Maxed, etc. Or TikTok brought you here via Roll for Sandwich and Roll for Chores and Roll for Drink and its many spin-offs. Welcome. My name's Ange. I've been playing D&D for over 10 years. And last year I started dabbling in running games as well. So that's my background within it. I've played at 6 tables and ran 2. So that's my credentials when it comes to D&D. Not like unique credentials to play run D&D. But yeah, so that's my background. And we'll have a look at what I think new players might find helpful to know. So first of all, what is D&D? At its core, it is a collaborative storytelling adventure game. So you have your GM or DM, that stands for Game Master or Dungeon Master, both apply, just depending on the group and stuff, who will lead you on an adventure, be it to go and rescue a princess, to go and stop goblins from trashing a bakery, to go and kill a bad guy. You know, there is a lot of adventures with a lot of different plots out there. Yeah, and at the core, you and your adventure party are looking to tell the best story possible while having as much fun possible within the structures of the campaign. And campaigns can be one-shots, which can be played in 1 or 2 sessions, through to full-on campaigns that can take weeks or months. Yeah. So, who plays D&D? Anyone. Literally anyone can play D&D. Well, I say that. If you're able to communicate in some way, be it speech, sign language, voice to text, text to voice, you know, you can make yourself understood. You're open-minded enough to be a bit goofy and lean into it. You're not a complete and utter dick. And yeah, that's about it. If you're open-minded enough to go along with the story, you're able to communicate, and you're not a dick, most tables are going to welcome you. Saying that, the DM's job is to also make sure that the tables have the correct balance. Now, this normally happens at a session 0. So, and a session 0 is important, and if your DM is not running session 0s, you might want to have a word with them. Session 0s are where you will create your character sheet, you will learn more about the plot and the campaign that the DM's planning on running. You will meet your fellow players, and rules are established. And I'll give you an example of why a session 0 is important. I played at a table in the past where we had returning players and characters and new players with new characters. And my character was a bad who did all of the bad things that are stereotypes. She liked to party in all of the ways. One of the new players was against fighting, against alcohol, against sex, against drugs, against a whole lot of other things. They didn't do a session 0. She didn't communicate that at the time. It was an awkward couple of weeks, let's just say. So you've got to get your tables right. I mean, obviously, again, you wouldn't run Curse of Strahd with children. You know, GM's job is to kind of make sure the bits fit and everyone's happy and rules are established, whether it be no, we wouldn't like our characters to romance each other, or excuse me, I'm actually really afraid of spiders. This is all of the stuff that kind of gets established within a session 0. So yeah. So we've done the who, we've done the what. So how about where? Where can you find games? Well, good place to look if you're looking for in person is your local game shop. Where you buy your kind of like Magic the Gathering cards, where you might find your Warhammer collections. You might also find Dungeons and Dragons. If they're not running a game, they might be willing to let you hire the space for a game to be played, or they might be able to point you in the direction of where games are happening. Another place you can check out is your local library. This is something that's happening in more and more libraries in my area. So that might be a place. Other than that, you have Facebook communities. It might be worth asking in your local social media community. I'm just using Facebook because that's what I'm more familiar with. Threads also has a really big D&D gathering at the moment. Lots of people coming in via Threads asking questions and looking for games and players, so that might be another place to try. Or online you can try, actually I'm just going to put a list up in this space here, and you might want to screen cap it so you can reference it, because I always get the name of the website wrong. So there's some good websites to look at as well. Might be that you have to be brave and ask around, but trust me, the rewards are worth it if you find the right group for you. Yeah. The other thing that people tend to ask about is, well, what do I need to start playing D&D? And this is where I'm going to pause and grab my D&D kit. Okay, I'm back and I have stuff. At the core, you are going to need dices. They come in a set of 7. I just grabbed a handful. The dice you will use the most is this one, a D20. It's called a D20 because it's got 20 sides. The other dice you will use most is a D6. You can pick these dice up pretty much anywhere. Temu sell them for £1. Amazon sell them for a couple of quid. Your game shops will have them. I've seen them in HMV. Yeah, and they come in a set of 7 with all of the dice you will need for the game. Another thing you're going to find useful is a pencil. Remember I mentioned filling out your character sheets earlier? Them numbers are going to change, so it is wise to just write them out in pencil so you don't have to keep rewriting them every time your character levels up. And the other thing that a GM will absolutely love you for, if you bring them along, a way of making notes. This is the notebook that my friend uses, or you can be as elaborate as me with a binder. And I just keep my character sheet and loose papers and character notes and the like in here. But as long as you've got some way of making notes, especially if you're playing a longer term campaign, then yeah. So that is the very, very basics you will need. You can get fancy dice trays. This one was like £1.50 off Temu. You can also use a takeaway tub, an ice cream tub. Just something to roll your dice in. As I have played, another thing that I have found useful is some sort of whiteboard and markers. Again, this is helpful for tracking things like gold you have picked up during the session, or if you're in combat, tracking characters' orders, or tracking the hit points, aka damage, your character has received. You will notice one thing that I don't have, and that is books. You will need your character sheet. It's just that my GM has my character sheet, otherwise I would have showed you that. But yeah, books. I have played for over 10 years. I have never needed the books. If I don't know it, I can Google it. Or another player will, or the GM will have the answer. We have got by for over 10 years without the books. You can, of course, buy them, and they are nice to have, but as a new player, I wouldn't say it's essential. There is also things like DM screens. Again, I've not really found them that helpful, and honestly, you can get a couple of A4 folders and make your own screen out of that for about 28 quid cheaper. Other things that are nice to have but not essentials: if you are going to be eating and drinking during your sessions, please make sure it's not stuff like Cheetos, because that dust gets everywhere. Please make sure it's not greasy food like burgers, because you don't want to get that all over your character sheet. Good things to bring are sort of like shareable things, because you don't want to be that person who is hoarding the snacks. So we use things like cake, we use things like crisps. If we're feeling a bit healthy, we will buy a bunch of bananas and hand them out. But again, it's down to your party and individual tastes. If you're drinking, then a non-spill container might be useful, it might not. Again, it depends on your table. I've used them at some tables, I haven't used them at other tables. But yeah, that's basically it for equipment. You can get started for not a lot of money. See you one. Right, now I've sorted the rude oven out. Where was I? Oh yeah. If you are playing in a campaign that uses battle maps, so that is the kind of thing that they showed on Stranger Things. I believe Early Critical Role might have used them. You will need a figure to represent your character. But again, I have seen things like marbles be used, different dice be used, miniature figures be used. So check with your DM before you go out and buy anything, because they might have something that you can use in the interim. If you are playing online, you don't need any of that stuff that I've just showed you, because the website will do it all for you, and you can note things on your online character sheet. What you will need is a good internet connection and a decent headset, and again, depending on the system that you are using to play the games and your group, you need a webcam. But that is very much DM dependent with regards to that. Have I missed anything? I don't think I have. If you think I have, please feel free to drop a question in the comments and I will do my best to answer it. If I don't know the answer, I'm going to know somebody who does, because I'm friends with people who've been playing for over 30 years. So yeah, hope you found that helpful. If you did, give us a like and maybe a follow. If you didn't, fair enough. I've been Ange, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.